as I look at the YouTube chat thread, there's a growing sentiment for Malik Willis. Have you noticed that, Spencer?
Oh yeah. People are hyped for it now.
I'm a proud father sitting here where the kids are listening. I don't get that at my own house. So, if I can get that in any shape or form of real life, I'm going to take it. I'm happy, Sam Flannel. I'm happy the people are listening. Now, so you can't save everybody.
No.
I understand that.
Don't save
You
don't
want to
be
be saved. There's nothing you can do for somebody that doesn't want to be saved. But some people have seen the light.
They have.
Yeah.
You're bringing us down the gospel told by Malik, the gospel preached by Neil, and I'm here for it. I really am.
Whoa. The gospel preached by who?
Yeah, by Neil.
Oh, God dang. He told me he never said that shit. Motherfucker, I was right here listening. All right, we got some great stuff for you on the offensive side of the ball. I thought it was really brilliant and some stuff that I want to all right, here is back to the show. Here is them talking about the pitch call on 4th and 2 or 4th and 1 on the goal line.
Let's go back to football real quick. Who called that trick play? The OC or Dan Campbell? The one to not the flea flicker, but the one to the little speed option.
Fool, I don't get paid enough to answer questions like that.
Right. I don't know either.
Shit,
You guys have a feeling? Do you guys have a feeling like who?
I mean, it was a 4th down. I think Dan has a lot of say.
We didn't have that play in since Jameer got drafted here.
We've had that plan forever. The craziest part, bro.
It's really weird though, because he pitched it hella early.
Hella early, huh? I blew my load, nigga. I couldn't wait.
You were
scared?
I couldn't wait to get it out my hands.
Hey, look how you flipped that hold up.
I said, here, take it.
The important piece of that clip that I wanted you guys to take away from.
He blew his load?
He blew his load. No, but seriously, you want to rewind it, you can listen to it back.
Have you ever
been talking about that play call. And they're like, whose idea was it? And they can't get that stuff up. I mean, obviously. I mean, they could. But maybe they truly don't know. Who knows? But the key parts that I took away was Amon-Ra St. I think on 4th down, Dan's a big part of that. If you go watch back that Baltimore Ravens game, you see Dan Campbell there at that Denny's menu, and, especially when we come around the 4th call place. And then the other thing they said, too, is, like, we've had that play forever since Ja was drafted. Who wasn't here when Ja was drafted? That would be our guy, Johnny Moe.
Yeah.
So the play that Dan Campbell was there for. And the other part, too, was I already said that part where Dan has a lot to say. I think, again, from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, that offense is so much different from what we saw. I think they went back into the bag of like the shit that was working last year, including that play call that they've had for the past 2 years, 3 years, however many years you want to say at this point. I think that's 3. I'm bad at math doing live. But either way, I guess a lot of people want me to apologize for shit, want me to come out and say I'm sorry for stuff, because I was a big believer in Ben as like the catalyst of all this stuff like that too. I think I'll call myself out for doubting Dan Campbell's offensive prowess. Just the fact that he had been around Bill Parcells, who was one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. The fact that he had been around Sean Payton, both as a player and coach for 10-plus years. The fact that he played the tight end position, which arguably offensive side of the ball could be the hardest position to play outside of quarterback, because you got to know the run game. You got to know the passing game. And then you got to go out and run your own routes too. Like, it's just, I doubted Dan Campbell in that. And it's just the thing that I've seen these past 2 weeks, and at least my belief is, I think Dan Campbell's had his thumbprint on the game plan and what's going on a little bit more than what we saw in week 1.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say, but I don't think that Dan Campbell called the play. I think Dan Campbell said we're going for it. I think Dan Campbell said we're going to go for it. We're going to do this. This is what we need to do. And Johnny Morton picked the play out. It was an awesome play call. It was an awesome decision to go for it. Dan Campbell will always be the guy that says, hey, no, we're going for it. Put the offense back out there. No. We're doing this. We're making this happen. But I think he believes in his guys, and he trusts Johnny Morton enough not to take the reins from him in an important situation like that. So I think, yeah, it's a combination of both. And they probably have a specific subsect of that Denny's list that are 4th down plays, or that probably was even in
and that's what Dan's like, we're doing this.
A 2-point conversion type of play where you just need a couple of yards and you got to make something happen. Like your best play to score or something like that is what you want to do on 4th down, because you know it's going to work. You know it's going to get you a couple of yards. So I think they have a specific section of plays that they call for those, but I do believe the decision on the play call specifically was still up to Johnny Morton, but Dan Campbell was the one that said, no, we're going for it.
Nah, it's Dan Campbell all day, brother. A 4th down situation, critical moment like that, his ass the one that's on the line at the end of the day more than anybody else. Where you at this one, Jeff?
I don't remember what I was going to say, but I don't think that Dan Campbell called the play. I think Dan Campbell said we're going for it. But Dan Campbell was the one that said, no, we're going for it. Nah, it's Dan Campbell all day, brother. 4th down situation, critical moment like that, his ass the one that's on the line at the end of the day more than anybody else.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think he kind of gave it away just a little bit. I think when he said that Dan has a little bit of
A lot to
the
do with
say
those
so and what we call, especially like on fourth down. I kind of see it this way now as like fourth down is like Dan's baby. He's not giving that up.
No.
He's got to be playing. He's got to be calling something on fourth down. Like that's his baby. He's not giving that up. And I also think we do fall victim to giving the offensive coordinator too much credit and taking credit away from Dan himself. Like he is the head coach. Like he calls the shots. So
Yeah.
like you're not like it's not like the offensive coordinator just has free range to just do whatever they want. You know what I mean? So it's like we got to start giving a little bit more credit to Dan Campbell in that aspect that he knows what he's doing too. He's not he's not dumb when he comes to football. He's been around it his whole life. So
Yeah.
we got to give him more credit.
Yeah, man, I'm calling myself out too, man. Like I think I fell for a little bit of it. Like he's more of a culture guy than anything else. No, I think he is like generational head football coach, like just all around. When it comes to like just the offensive prowess, just the also the rah culture stuff like that too. Like we lost 2 guys that became NFL head coaches. I mean, you're talking about billion-dollar organizations that interviewed multiple candidates and picked 2 guys, and your organization is like, okay, we want you to help spearhead this thing and turn shit around.
Yeah.
And the Detroit Lions are looking like the same they did last year, though. Obviously, some of the players too, but the concept in the coaching is Dan Campbell. Also, the man picking out the guys to carry on the torch at the coaching level at offensive and defensive coordinators.
And it wasn't just Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson that we lost. You also lost Antoine Randall. You also lost Tanner Strand. You also lost pieces on that defensive coaching staff. So it was more than just 2 guys you had to replace. It was, I don't know exactly how many it was, but I'd say it's at least 5 coaches you had to replace.
I think actually literally it was 5.
It was 5, yeah, in that coaching staff. And obviously, there still are a lot of pieces that carried over, like Scotty Montgomery and Hank Fraley and different guys like that. But Dan Campbell has the finger on the pulse of his coaching staff, and that is extremely important. He knows, I don't care if you're my best friend, if you're my mentor, if you're a great dude in Anthony Lynn, you're not getting shit done. Pack your bags and get out of town, buddy. I know to promote a guy like Ben Johnson. I know to give a guy like Hank Fraley more power. I know to bring in guys like John Fox and like Johnny Morton at the beginning of it to oversee and help give insight in different situations. So, yeah, not only is Dan Campbell a great rah-rah guy, he does a great job of managing his coaching staff and putting guys in the best situations for them to have success and for them to spread their knowledge amongst the team. Because you look at Scotty Montgomery, and he did a great job in his position last year, but Dan Campbell said, no, I know what you really are good at. And he switched up his whole staff, and he put Scotty in a different spot, and it's working out so well.
Yeah, the coaches we lost, if I'm not mistaken, is Ben, AG, Tanner Strand, Antoine Randall, and JT Barrett.
Yeah.
So that's a random. You got on the money, I'm pretty sure. Nick, where you at with that one? Who do you think is? You think Dan's in that kitchen a little bit more than we're led on to believe?
Yeah, I think he is. And a lot of people tend to forget that he came from, the Sean Payton train with the Saints, And I think Sean Payton was known as one of the first, great offensive minds on that, in the Saints organization. And he probably learned a lot from him while he was, a coach in those rooms. And I think Dan Campbell is, much as he is known as a rah-rah guy, is also a great football mind at the end of the day. Like, he was in, or he had things to do, or he had, oh my God, he was in these rooms with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. Like, I don't want to act like he was not there and it was all Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell is a smart offensive mind, and I think when you have the horses that the Detroit Lions do, it wasn't going to look like Green Bay all season. And I know everything starts with the offensive front, but Dan Campbell definitely has things to go with. And on fourth down, Dan was for sure making the call. I don't believe, if Johnny Morton put in a fourth down that Dan Campbell, didn't agree with, Dan's making that change.
Horses don't stop. They keep going.
That's the other thing, too. We got the horses as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the coaches, a lot of the players are there, and they got the mentality. I mean, we draft them with a purpose, right? The guys that fucking care about ball, guys that get easily offended by something like power back could be seen as a compliment because they're so competitive, though. And Dave Montgomery took offense to that. Yeah. That's we draft with that purpose. We sign people with that purpose. I mean, this organizationally, we're just in good hands. Jeff, I know you had something else to say too.
Yeah. So I mean, when you really look at it now in the NFL, look how many teams are going for it on 4th down. Like now, Ben Johnson's starting to go for it on 4th down. He came from Dan Campbell's tree. I mean, obviously we see Aaron Glenn, but I don't know if that we can really count that yet with that Jets team. But you see a lot of teams actually starting to be more aggressive on 4th down, trying to keep their their offense on the field rather than just punting. So I mean, he has like a lot of influence on the NFL's head coaching culture on what these NFL head coaches are now trying to do, keep their offense on the field.
And real quick too, just fans says DC likes to defer credit. That's why fans get fooled that BJ was smarter than DC. I think just from conversations I've had with players on the team that played on the offensive side of the ball, Ben was he drew the plays up, and then Dan would give him like the principle of that week, like, hey, this is how I want to attack him. I need to draw the game plan up around this. Even in 22, when Dan took over for the play calling for Anthony Lynn, I got it right that time.
Nice. First time you said it in a while.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised. It was still Ben behind the scenes, like drawing it up, but still, you still have to have that feel for the play call of like when the right moment to call certain plays. You know what I'm saying? Even like
Gotta have the feel.
Yeah, we saw it in the game against the Ravens. Like they constantly kept setting shit up. I don't know who broke this one down. I think it was I don't remember. I apologize not to give credit to it. But if you kept noticing, they had the I formation, or when they draw like run plays, it was like a short motion for Amon-Ra St. Brown, then run, setting it up. So you've seen that play over and over and over again. And then that 4th and 2, you see Amon-Ra short motion. You think it's a run play. Boom, he bursts out for that pass.
Yeah.
Not wide open, but great catch.
I mean, he fooled Marlon Humphrey, had to hold him.
Yeah.
And they still got the play off and still got the pass off and still completed it.